Αιτήσεις που μπορείτε να έχετε αναφορικά με τα σχέδια και την παρουσία της Fraport στο νησί. Και πάλι θα ήθελα να σας ευχαριστήσω για τη σημερινή σας παρουσία και σε αυτό το σημείο θα ήθελα να καλέσω στο βήμα τον κύριο Αλεξάνδρ Τσίνελ, διευθύνοντα σύμβουλο της Fraport. Σας ευχαριστώ πολύ.
Kalispera σας. Ladies and gentlemen, distinguished guests, welcome and good afternoon to our hearing, to our stakeholder engagement meeting. Can you hear me? It's a great pleasure to be back in Kω. My first visit here had not a very pleasant cause. It was right after the earthquake in July. I came here to see how the team at our airport was doing and how actually the island and the population of the island dealt with the effects of the earthquake. And I was very happy to see that everybody reacted in a very professional and a very calm manner. We could get the airport back into operation within a few hours after the event. And thanks to the collaboration and the good teamwork with everybody, the tour operators, the hotel owners, and the population of the island, the effects of the earthquake could be mitigated. And today we're very happy to see that the traffic and the inflow of tourists has grown 20% versus last year. So I think it was a very good season. This unfortunate event, which is of course a natural disaster, has been handled very well, and that's why I'm happy to be back today. It's much calmer. It's a beautiful day, and it's a beautiful day on a beautiful island that I believe has a great future. Our role is to be part of that future and to help support this future. And my role now today is to give you a little insight and overview of our project as such, of what we do as Fraport Greece, what we will do here. Mr. Rolf Klitscher will give you a more detailed look in the new terminal that we are about to begin to build. And then later we're here to answer your questions. And it's important for you to understand that this event, as we have it in every of our airport, is basically for you to ask questions, to voice your concerns, and for us to respond to it. It is, let's say, our goal and our wish to be as transparent, as open, and as responsive as possible. And I'm very much looking forward to a dialogue, to an intensive dialogue later on, to answer your questions. So I would like to now give you a quick overview of what Fraport Greece is, in fact. Fraport Greece is a new company that has been established just about 2 years ago. And the purpose of Fraport Greece is actually to operate 14 regional airports. These 14 airports are a project that have been in the making for a long time. The idea of privately operated airports has first been implemented in Greece back in 1996 with Athens International Airport. And I'm proud to say that back in 1996 I was working on this project in Athens. And it's one of the most successful airports, one of the best airports in Europe, and also in terms of privately operated airports. It's a landmark, it's a milestone project. It's been very successful, not only for the shareholders and for the owners, but I think also for the population of Athens that has a great airport today. This whole concept of operating airports privately is based on the Athens model, and it has taken a very long time since 2001 when Athens got into operation until actually we started operating these 14 airports. We started as early as 2006. We have signed an agreement with the Kopoulos Group to pursue this project and to work for the private operation of these airports And after almost 11 years, finally the day came, April 11 this year, when we started to operate these airports. So it's a long-term project, not only for Greece and for the Greek public sector, but also for us because we have been pursuing it for a long time. This project has, apart from what everybody speaks about, the money we paid to the Greek state, I think it has also a very different effect and a different approach. These airports came to the state where they are, not because of a lack of money, but because the organization is actually not capable, Civil Aviation Authority has not been capable of operating them, mostly because they were not given back the money that they were generating in order to reinvest and expand the capacity. So what we do nowadays is one of the largest and most beneficial investments in Greece, not only in terms of the money we spend for the airports, but also in restructuring the sector. It is also important because it changes and upgrades the gateways to what is today one of the most important sectors in the Greek economy, tourism. So we are an essential part of the touristic value chain. We are not ourselves a touristic product, and we will certainly talk about this later. We're not the reason for people to come to Kω. We are just a gateway, but it's important that this gateway works and it's efficient and it's pleasant and it's a good experience for the travelers. So we see ourselves as part of the touristic community and the tourism industry here in Greece and in Kω. And because we are an employer, an important employer, and we are an investor, we invest now in Kω over the next couple of years. We will invest about 30.5 million euros in new infrastructure. We also consider ourselves an essential part of the local community, and that's why we're here to discuss with you today. To give you, apart from what we do here in Kω, an overview of what we do at the national level. Our concession is for 40 years and for 14 airports. It's important to say it's a concession. We don't own these airports. We are caretakers for them on behalf of the Greek state for the next 40 years. Caretaker means we are responsible to operate them, we're responsible to maintain them, to upgrade them, to expand them if necessary, and to develop these airports according to the needs of the future needs of travel, of air travel. We have paid 1.2 billion euros on April 11. This was a one-shot, one-time payment to start the concession. Every year thereafter, we will pay 23 million euros roughly to the state as a concession fee. On top of that, we pay 28.5% of our operating profit as a concession fee. And that comes on top of all the taxes we pay, whether it's VAT or corporate tax or any other taxes that we're obliged to pay. So we are a big contributor to the Greek public sector. And over the lifetime of this concession, the contribution from Fraport Greece to the public sector will be around 10 billion euros. So it's a sizable flow of money to the Greek public. We will also be now in the next 4 years invest a little over 400 million euros across the country in the 14 airports. And we have so far created 560 new jobs, around 180 in Athens in the headquarters, and around 400 across all the airports. And it's important to mention that these are direct employments. All these employees work for Fraport Greece directly. We have contracted out a number of functions that are essential to operating an airport. The biggest contract we have is, for example, with the Hellenic Fire Brigade to ensure that all our airports have adequate rescue and firefighting services. And of course we have a security contract for the perimeter control and for the typical checks that you would expect at an airport. And of course we have other contracts for cleaning and services. We have big contracts with utility suppliers, electricity, water, and so forth and so forth. So we are a big economic engine as well. We purchase a lot of services, and we work with a lot of companies, and we create additional economic activity. Now, I have heard today a number of times that the population here in Kω is a bit disappointed that things are not progressing quicker. Our focus from day one was to make these airports safe and secure. We had significant lacks in security and in safety. And a lot of the things we did in the first 6 months were actually under the hood. If you compare it with a car, you typically don't see the engine, but if the engine doesn't work, the car doesn't work. It can be as beautiful on the outside, but the engine doesn't work. It takes you nowhere. So we did a lot of interventions under the hood, and this includes procedures, practices, the way we do things, the way we run the airport, the way we arrange passenger flows. And some of the beneficial effects will only be seen over time. And this is, I'm saying this not to excuse myself, but to explain. So many of the things we did are not visible immediately to the public and to the passenger, but they were important to ensure the foundation of the airport operating properly. And some of the limitations that you are still experiencing and seeing are because we operate in very old and very poor infrastructure. We will talk about it later, but the new terminal we are building will be almost 3 times as big as the one we have currently. That gives you an idea of how small this facility is and why you see congestion and why you see a lot of deficiencies in terms of passenger experience. So we will, once we start in doing the basics, which is processes and procedures, we start to develop and build the infrastructure. And we only build the infrastructure during the winter season. We don't do interventions in the summer season simply because we don't want to interfere with the summer operations. We don't want to limit the capacity of the airport during summer. Another goal that we have and another obligation that we have according to the contract is to ensure that we operate in compliance with international standards. As you all are aware, aviation is governed by a lot of international norms that are applying to any airport operator or any aircraft operator, no matter where in the world. So we are bringing these airports up to these standards, but this takes time, simply because we don't have the facilities and the systems that we want today, but we're building towards getting them there where they should. Now, according to the contract, to our concession agreement, we have 4 years to achieve that. We have 2 years to do basic fixing and refurbishments, and 4 years to complete the full program. We try to be quicker, but I also would like to ask for your understanding that we have to do this not only in Kω, but at 13 other airports across the country. And of course, our ultimate goal is to do away with the complaints and the bad image of Greek airports. Depending on where you look, Greek airports sometimes rank amongst the 10 worst airports in the world. You find usually 4 to 5 Greek airports, and most of the times they're with us, within our groups. This is, of course, a bad ranking from the past, and all this will go away once we're done with our program. We have high expectations also from ourselves and to our staff, and I'm sure you will tell me later that we did not always meet those expectations, and I understand that we're not always 100% satisfied with what we did. But just as a reminder, we took over these airports 7 months ago, and we had to create a company from scratch. So all the people that are working for us today did not work for us a year ago. So it's a brand new company with almost 600 employees. It was built within 1 year, trained and deployed across Greece. So what are we going to do in terms of the investments? We are building 5 completely new terminals, and Kos is one of them. 5 other terminals will be refurbished and expanded, so there will be significant changes in the infrastructure and expansions. And the 4 terminals will be remodeled depending on, because they're in good shape and they're well done, so we don't need to do major interventions. And we will also do 15. We will also touch all our 15 runways. You may wonder, 14 airports, 15 runways, is maybe one too much. We do have 2 runways in Thessaloniki, and you may have read in the press that there are currently some issues with the state works, the public works that are going on at Thessaloniki Airport. One of the runways where we do a lot of work is also Kos. The runway in Kos is in very bad shape, so we need to actually rebuild the whole runway. And this will happen in the beginning of 2018. These are the 5 new terminals: Corfu, Thessaloniki, Kefalonia, Lesbos, and Kos. These are the airports where we do major refurbishment within the terminals. And these are the ones which are basically remodeled. They stay as they are, but they are remodeled significantly on the inside. I wish I had better renderings of what Kos Airport will look like, and as we move along, as our design teams move along, we will have a better visual impression of what the terminal will look like. Rolf will give you an idea of the terminal layout and the sizes and what the functional areas will be. But in an artistic impression, our designers are still working on the final product, so we will be able to give that to you as we move along, and the information will be updated on our website in due course. Talking about websites, our websites are an important tool to communicate with our customers and with our business partners. The websites contain what people are typically most interested in airports. It's arrival and departure information, general information about the airport, contact information for airlines, and a general way of communicating. If you call up these websites on your desktop or in a PC, they will look okay, but not great. However, if you look at them on your mobile phone, they will fit perfectly because they have been optimized for mobile phone use, because this is where the trend is going. These websites are a tool to communicate with our business partners and customers. We also have dedicated a section on every website for the destination. In the case of Kos, this is our proposal. It's filled with some general information, but we would like to invite you as a community to work with us to fill that page and that section with information that's relevant. Now again, we're not as arrogant to know what's best for you, but we would like to develop this section actually with you as a community and with you as a destination, to make it adequate, to make it worthy of course. And it's a small contribution to creating a platform to convey information about Kos. Here's the section about arrival and departure information. We also have started a different tool of giving information about the airports and the destination with the magazine you found on your seats. It's called Grecian, and we have a number of editions. We have 4 editions which are concentrated on different regions. And this booklet is, of course, there's a lot of advertising, as you would typically expect in airport or airline magazine. But there's also a section for each destination, and that destination we also would like to work with you to put and fill it with the proper information, which is editorial content and not advertising. So these are some of the things we do to try to sort of support the destination and Kos Airport. I'm sure we'll get a lot of questions later on what else we do about marketing, about increasing the awareness for airlines about the airport and what we do to facilitate traffic and to facilitate new connections to the airport. So that's a typical exercise we do constantly. I can assure you that our goal and our objective and also my mission that I have from my shareholders is to grow traffic and to grow the airport and to make sure that we have more passengers than the previous year. Because that's what we are. We are a company, we are private investors. Our only mission is to operate the airports safe and secure, and then of course to grow them and to make them a profitable business. And not only for us, we also want to create these airports as a platform for other businesses to do carry out their own businesses, whether it's food and beverage, whether it's car rental, whether it's services that are provided at the airport. So we want to create the airport as a marketplace that works for everyone and for a lot of other businesses as well. Destination marketing, we had a very interesting conversation about destination marketing this afternoon with members of the business community over lunch. And one thing that we do is we operate airports, and we are an airport operator, and we focus on operating airport. We don't operate hotels, we don't operate leisure businesses or entertainment businesses, we operate airports. So when it comes to the destination marketing, we can help, we can support, but the creation of the destination and the creation of the brand name is that's with you, that's with the people of Kω and the hotel owners and the travel agents and everybody else that creates the experience and the image of the island. So we will be supported, we would like to support, we'd like to help, but that's sort of a boundary, a strict boundary of where things we can do and the things we cannot do. But we try to provide platforms and we try to provide support in order to help move this forward. This concludes my part of the presentation. I will now hand over to Mr. Rolf Klitsche. He's the director for 7 airports in Cluster B. And he will give you more information about how the new airport will look like and all the works that we will undertake. Thank you very much.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Rolf Klitsche. I'm Cluster Director Cluster B, and I would like to give you an overview about our construction activities at the airport of Rhodes. When we of course. Sorry. These are the existing figures, the traffic figures from 2016, and our design horizon is the year 2026. So we base all our calculations on this column. So we have our traffic forecast, our movements per aircraft, and from this you can see the total area of the terminal right now is 8,300 square meters, and we will more or less triple the size of this terminal in the future until 2026. We will increase the number of check-in counter from 16 to 28. The security check-in lanes will be dramatically increased. The number of gates will remain. We think the number is fine, but the size is different. And the number of reclaim belts is also will be the same. And we will enhance the stands outside on the apron. I will show you later on how. The major intervention which we will have, we will build a completely new terminal, because the existing terminal we first thought about to modify this terminal and expand this under running operation, but then we very fast realized it makes sense to build a new one, and so this was the final decision to have everything in one level. We will construct this in 3 main phases. So we will construct outside of the existing terminal. I will later show you how, and then move and finish the part of this of the remaining construction. And this design and construction will be done by our main subcontractor, our main contractor. This is the company Intercut. We made a contract with them for all our airports, and they will handle this construction and the design. The advantage to have everything in one level is to have all processes in one level. Right now we are moving ups and downs, and we have a better operation, everything in one level for the future. As I said, we will triple the size of the terminal. We will enhance dramatically the retail offer, the area for duty and the other shops and food and beverage. And we expect to be ready around March 2020 with all the phases. Before I come to the new construction, everybody is telling us, what did you do since April? So you didn't do anything. This is not really correct, because behind the lines we did a lot. We did a lot in basic fire life safety. We added mechanism to the sliding doors that you can open in serious case. We added new exit signs. We had deep cleaning of the terminal for the WCs. We added a new IT cabling system for the new monitors. We enhanced the restrooms, as I just said. We installed defibrillators. We had the landside action for the parking access and utilization, and we have the airside actions, grass cutting, and we enhanced the lights on the apron, so we have a better and safer operation, as well as for airside pavement. We enhanced some patches which have been really worse. So some pictures, what we did. The fire alarm system, defibrillators we installed. You might have realized that the air conditioning system in the beginning was not really good, so we did a lot in the air conditioning system and the ventilation system to the WCs. We invested a lot in rainwater proofing of the roof right now, even it's going to be demolished. But we have to survive 1.5 seasons, so we had to do something in the waterproofing. We installed or repaired the lamps inside the terminal as well. And grass cutting also in order to reduce bird strike potential. Now I would like to come to the expansion works. In order to give an impression, this is the existing terminal right now, and the blue area is in the layout of the new, or the plot of the new terminal. This is the existing ATC tower, this is the transformer station and the fire station. Kω will get a complete new fire station here side, and so this will be the phases. First we will build this new fire station, and this part of this terminal outside while still operating the existing one. Then we will move from this part into this area. Also, this arrival reclaim belts will be built up here, and then we can demolish this part and build our new gates over there. This is what I just explained. This is the new layout. So this is the entrance. Here there are 28 check-in counters. This will be the security check. And then here we have this walk-through concept for the commercial suppliers. So our passengers have the chance to shop before leaving in one of these gates. Arriving passengers will come here with the bus, go into this reclaim hall, pick up their luggage and leave the terminal. And non-Schengen passengers will have to have the passport control in this area, pick up their luggage and also will leave the terminal. So this will be the final plot. We will build this in 2 stages, around 23,000 square meters like it is here. We will build now, and in 21 we will build another 1,000 square meters here in order to fulfill our requirements for 24,000 square meters.
Όσες καταστάσεις χρειάζονται προκειμένου να εξασφαλίσουμε τα 24.000 τετραγωνικά μέτρα.
One of the drivers to build a new terminal was also the obligation that we have to install a new baggage handling system, which is this 3C an automatic screening system, in order to follow the EU regulations. So we have to install a new baggage handling system with automatic screening. So this area,
Οπότε σε αυτή την περιοχή, πίσω από τον έλεγχο εισιτηρίων, είναι ένα καινούριο μέρος το οποίο θα είναι εντελώς καινούριο.
The basement of this part will contain all the transformers and the MEP area, mechanical, electrical equipment which we need to install. So we will have this in the basement. So we have a clear flow for the process.
Στο ίδιο επίπεδο της υπηρεσίας.
Just go a little bit back here. We have the future expansion considered, so we have the chance to further expand gates in the future, to expand also security area, and also have space for additional baggage handling systems if this will be needed. So we have a design which also can fulfill future requirements. These are the elevations. The final elevations are in the still hot from flooding. So we're in the final stage with our designers to finalize this one, also to get the approval for this. And as Alexander just said, this is the main part. So we will have this kind of honeycomb structures as the architectural part. This also will be shown in the air side.
Το οποίο θα βρίσκεται και από την πλευρά του ελεγχόμενου χώρου αεροδρομίου.
This facade will be sent to the architectural committee in Essence. There is a new founded architectural committee, and they will later on approve this.
Η οποία θα περιμένουμε να την εγκρίνει και να κλείσουμε σχόλια από αυτού του σχεδιασμού.
This is your new curbside, left side. So we will have a roundabout. Here the parking position. This is the main entrance. And the exit from this side. This is the new air side. And the gatehouse to the air side. With the security check on this part. The air side will change, and we remain the same size, except of this 8,000 square meter, which we will add right now. And right now we have the mode that the aircraft can power in and go power out by themselves. In the future we will change it to the international standard how airports are operated, so they go power in and will be pushed back and then go out by themselves. So we can use this space for more aircraft stands in the future. The new RFF building, the fire station, will have space for 8 fire trucks and will be a complete station, including kitchens, dormitories, restaurants, so the firefighting staff have, I always say, have their own city over there. The airside works, Alexander mentioned this already. We have a runway system and a taxi lane and apron system, which is worn out. Unfortunately, it's not in the best condition, so we have a weak sub-base and we have a lot of holes, you know, and the remaining lifetime is not as needed. So we will mill this entire runway in different areas. So here this was recently done, I think around 2000. But here in this deep areas, deep red areas, we have to mill about 12-15 centimeter and have another inlay instructed. And here we have an inlay of 5 centimeter as well as here. And the apron area in this front, we also have to have a more deep intervention needed. Means this is a runway of 2,400 meters, and the minimum runway length we need for a small aircraft is around 900-1,000 meters. So we can construct from this side, we can construct from this side, but in the middle part we have a problem because of overlapping. This means that we have to close down the airport or the runway for a certain period. Right now we did it in Mykonos. We had 16 days closure and we could fix it in 14 days with shift work, so we had good luck. Just one day of serious rain, and this was finished 2 days ahead and it's going to be reopened tomorrow. Here in this area we also in the stage of finalizing design to shorten this runway closure. Of course we know this is an impact for the island, but we have to do this, otherwise we can't work in this middle area, in this middle. But we will announce right in time, and a whole team is working on this to find the best solution how to construct this middle part as well. We will start the construction, and as we are finished in Mykonos, we will use this asphalt mixing plant to transfer to Kos. Today they started to build up the fences for this mixing plant, and then we will start the asphalt works here mid of January until end of March. When we finish this runway and apron works, then we will construct this 8,000 square meter new apron. Thank you very much for this. Do we have any questions for this? Then we are open to answer.
Και με την παρουσίαση του κυρίου Κλίτσερ ολοκληρώνουμε την αναλυτική παρουσίαση του phasing, του χρονοδιαγράμματος των σταδίων κατασκευής του νέου σταθμού στο αεροδρόμιο της Κω. Μαζί μας είναι και ο κύριος Γιώργος Μαστροδημητρίου, διευθυντής του αεροδρομίου της Κω. Και τώρα νομίζω μπαίνουμε στο πιο σημαντικό, θα έλεγα, κομμάτι της σημερινής συνάντησης. Είμαστε εδώ προκειμένου να απαντήσουμε τυχόν ερωτήματα, να ακούσουμε πάνω απ' όλα τις απόψεις σας, ιδέες. Αυτό το οποίο θα ήθελα να ζητήσω είναι δύο πράγματα, για να διευκολύνουμε λίγο τη διερμηνέα, όλες οι ερωτήσεις να γίνονται πάντα στο μικρόφωνο και να δηλώνετε αν είναι εύκολο το όνομά σας και το φορέα, αν εκπροσωπείτε κάποιο φορέα. Σας ευχαριστώ πολύ.